nighttime, it's dark outside. I'm trying to relax a little bit, so I'm out here doing a little bit of forging. I'm going to make a shoe tonight. The first thing I'm going to do is demonstrate how I would find the center of this shoe. Then I'll go ahead and forge the shoe. So I got a piece of steel here, it's 11 inches long. So what I do is take my ruler and measure half of that shoe. So this ruler has a 0 point. It's 11 inches long. I go 5.5 inches on each side, like that, and back to 0. I use a Sharpie and make a mark. And then I take my hammer, and over the edge of the anvil where that mark is, I hit the steel, and it makes a center mark right there. Okay? And then I'll stick it in the forge. I've already got a piece in there, so I'll stick that in the forge. When I bring it out, it's pretty hot. Right here is our center mark, and so I'll take that over the horn of the anvil, about 1 inch on each side of that center mark, and hit it right in the center. It's important to keep your steel straight. You hit it right in the center a few times like that, bring it to like a 90-degree angle. So this is called our toe bend. This thing right here is called the toe bend. The next thing I want to do is work on this heel. I can make that heel. I can stick it back in the forge for just a minute and get it hot. Now, while that's heating up, this forge runs off propane. It's made by a company called Forge Master. When it's orange in there, it gets 1800 degrees, so it's very hot. And it's got plenty of power to make one shoe. You can make all kinds of stuff with these forges. These are just tongs I use to hold the steel so I don't burn my hands. And this is a hammer I've had since 2003. It's a shaping hammer. Some of the other things I'll use, this is a clipping hammer. It's got this kind of a ball pinion on it, and it makes clips. I can make a clip on this shoe when I finish a toe clip. I got a compass that'll mark where my toenails go. This is called the pritchel. That's what I make my final nail hole with. This is called a 4-punch, and that's what I'm going to make a plain snap horseshoe. So that's some of the tools I'll use here tonight. Besides this brush, I'll use this brush too. Okay, so now we're going to bring the shoe out of the forge, bring it across the anvil. There's slag on there, so I'm going to brush that off. Bring the heel of the shoe across the anvil and hit the top of that shoe in the very corner, just like that, at a 45-degree angle. Bring it down like that. Then I'll turn it over, and this is the other side, the inside of the shoe, and I do the same thing. As I drive that in, I kind of do it at an angle. It starts to form a heel. It looks like that. We really don't want that little alligator mouth thing there, but that's okay. So we got that part. We'll stick it back in the forge and make the bar of the shoe. Not the bar, but the branch of the shoe. Okay, now we're going to take the shoe back out of the forge and make one of the branches. So I'll bring it over the horn of the anvil. This is going to be a front shoe, and this anvil is got a pretty round horn. So I'll make that branch. This isn't perfect, but that's a branch right there. Now what I'll do is I'll put it back in and make this side of my shoe. That's what I normally do. Then I'll shape it like a front shoe. While that's heating up, let's talk about this a little bit. I learned how to do this. The first shoe I made was in 1989. I went to farrier school in Tucumcari, New Mexico. A man named Jim Keith and a man named Leland Earl were my instructors, and there I studied for a year. We made a bunch of shoes. Obviously, over 34 years I don't make shoes every day. You can buy store-bought shoes or pre-made shoes that fit the feet and a lot easier to modify and makes it easier to shoe a horseshoe quicker, less time consuming. So but the first shoes I made, I was 21. I'm 55 now, so that's been quite a span of time in the shoemaking business. Okay, now we're going to I'll make the other heel and the other branch. That's usually a process that can be done in one heat very easily. So I do the same thing. Hit the top of that shoe where it's still at a 90 degree or 45 degree angle, the foot side, the bottom side. Do the same thing. Make it look like that. And now take it back over the horn and the anvil. Kind of losing my heat. Well, that's pretty orange still. That's a horse that has a really weird shaped foot. We'll make it symmetrical on the next heat. Before, I was working out the side of this forge, which is pretty handy. This forge has these side ports. But now I've got it shaped, I put it inside and I shut the door. So open that door and see how orange that is. That's about 1800 degrees inside. This forge to get extremely hot. Now I got to make this shoe symmetrical. I don't want it to look so oblong on that one branch. And so I'll make both branches the same length. Horn of this anvil. So basically we got pretty much the shape of the shoe right there. Now this is a small foot. It's going to be probably a double aught or an outside shaped foot once we get done with it. Now let's find our center mark. From our center mark, which is right here, this compass or these dividers are set at 1 1/4 inches. And so I'll scribe right there 1 1/4 inches on both sides. It's kind of hard to see it. I'll make a mark. So right here and right here is where my toenails are going to be on this shoe. This shoe will have 3 nail holes in it. Now this is a 4-punch. I've had it for about 20 years. I got this from Jim Keith too. It's been a pretty handy tool. So when I take my 4-punch, my toenail will be almost right in the center of that shoe. I'm just going to mark it right now. So I'll hit it one time, maybe twice, just lightly and make a mark. Then I'll go back here to the widest part of the foot or the shoe and make another mark. That's where my heel nail goes. I want that a little bit more outside because the hoof fall is thinner on the outside of the foot than it is on the inside. And then I'll divide the distance with my second nail. I'll do the same thing on this other side here. You can see my scribe right there. So I'll go there and make a mark in the center. Go to the widest part of the foot, make another mark. That's a little too far back, I think, but we'll go with it. Right there, maybe I'll move this one up just a hair. Okay, so now we got all our nail holes marked. We'll bring it out of the forge. We want to flatten the shoe just a hair. We got some slag on there. We want to get that slag off. That'll do some damage to an eye if we're not careful. careful. So we'll go back to where I marked my nail holes. Right here's a toenail. I'll drive this into the anvil about 4 or 5 good times. Then I'll go back to my heel nail. Same thing. Then my middle center nail. Same thing. This is sole pack, hoof packing, that cools this punch down. Then I'll go back over here to my heel nail. Then my center nail hole. And my toenail. Now then I cool my 4-punch off again. Now the colder this metal gets, the harder it is to punch it. If you notice, these went rather easily. These took a little more effort. Now what we'll do is flatten the shoe out. We developed what we call some frog eyes right here. It kind of still sticks out right there. So we'll get rid of the frog eyes over the front of the anvil. Okay, we got rid of them. You're still good. Got rid of the frog eyes. Now we're going to just punch these again to clean them up a little bit. Couple of times. And we'll cool our tool in the soap pack again. Now we want to flatten the shoe again. Then we're going to pritchel at our nail holes. This is my pritchel. I want to stick it in this grease, and I stick it in there at an angle on the toenails. I angle it toward myself. Then I bring it over my hardy hole and drive a little piece of steel. I'll show you in a second. As I progress farther back in this shoe, I hold my pritchel more straight up and down. The hoof wall is more straight up and down at the heel than it is at the toe. So right now we've got 3 nail holes that are done. I'm going to level the shoe again. Hopefully we've still got enough heat to get these other 3 nail holes. So repeat the process. Cool it off again. Flatten it. So now we've got them clear through. Now I don't know if all those nails are going to fit just right. Okay, we're going to check our nail holes. This is an MX50 nail made by Mustad. Try to put it in those nail holes. You can see it doesn't go in very good on most of these nail holes. So I'm going to re-pritchel them and see if I can get a better fit. See, that dropped in there pretty nice. That one's still having a hard time. That one's actually needs to be a little bit smaller now. Let's go to a little bigger nail head. This is an MX55, which fits in there better. So we got our two middle nails. We need to open up. Looks like those both fit now. So what we want to do, this is a completed shoe. It needs to be flattened out and leveled. But I'm going to put a toe clip on it right here on the toe. And what that does is help holds that shoe on a little bit better and keeps the shoe from sliding back, like if you're jumping or out in the rocks and stuff like that. It gives a little bit more support to the shoe. Now we're going to pull this clip. Pretty hot. One thing about this forge, it heats this garage up. It's cold outside. I'm about to start sweating. So we're making the shoe level again. Getting rid of the slag. And then this clip is going to be right in the center of the toe. So I'll start where that toe mark is and go back about, oh, I don't know, a quarter to half an inch. Make an indentation. That's called the source hole. Edge of my anvil. And draw it like that a little bit. See how it's kind of sticking out like a little tip there. So now, normally you do this in one heat, but I'll stick it back in the forge and draw the clip out. Okay, we'll finish this. Draw this clip. We've got a little more slag. We'll increase that. And we'll bring this clip over the other side of the horn, or the anvil, and I'll draw it by pulling the steel toward me. It turns out like that. And then I will take it and flatten the shoe. I'll turn it back over the side of the anvil here, face the anvil. Flatten it out. And then I want to put this clip at the angle of the toe it is, so I tap it so it's back at not quite a 45-degree angle. Now, this shoe is pretty symmetrical, but we're going to just kind of shape it up a little bit. Make it so it fit a foot. Like I say, this is a pretty small-footed horse. One thing we need to do, the last thing, is relieve sole pressure. By getting right on the inside of that shoe where the shoe is going to touch the foot of the sole of the foot. Okay, I need to fix it a little bit more. I need to take one more heat and we'll be done with this shoe. One final heat on this shoe. Try to make it just a hair more symmetrical on this branch over here. That looks better. Naturally, the outside of the horse's foot is a little hair longer than the inside. So we'd make this the outside branch. It's a hair longer than this one over here. So we're done with this shoe. I'm going to take my wire brush and just brush this slag off. Clean it up the best I can. Still pretty hot. These tongs get pretty hot. You can see the steam. Now, looking at this shoe, it looks like these nail holes have closed up a little bit, so we'll check them again. Yeah, they're closed up, so I'm gonna run my Pritchel through one more time. It's a little harder to Pritchel when you get clips on these things. Okay, I think that'll make it so we can nail this puppy on. I'm just getting rid of any burrs that might appear. We brushed all the slag off, so it's pretty shiny. We can get the slag off that clip. The horse probably doesn't care how shiny it is, but makes it look a little bit better. Let's get rid of a little bit more soap pressure. And now we'll flatten it out one more time, and then we'll clinch it. As you can see, it's still pretty hot. If you want to, you can clinch it and brush your hair more. Okay, here's our final product. We got our nails to fit. This is an MX55. It fits really good. So that's what we use, 6 MX55s on this horse's foot, on the shoe. Anyway, this is a fun way to relieve stress, and if you're not too tired at the end of the day, and to better yourself in the art of blacksmithing. This is Jason the Farrier. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great night.